It's time for Voice of Indie. Your hosts today are Beem Weeks, author, producer, and marketing monster for independent multimedia publisher Fresh Ink Group, and Stephen Gies, author, producer, composer, and publisher for Fresh Ink Group.
Greetings and welcome to another Hump Day. This is the Voice of Indie podcast, episode number 202. I am your host, Beem Weeks, and with me is Mr. Stephen Gies. How you doing tonight, Stephen?
I'm doing great. Having a lovely Alabama summer. What's going on up there?
Well, tonight's show, let me point this out. Tonight's show was a rescheduled episode. Tonight's guest, B.A. Johnson, was supposed to be on a few weeks ago, and we had technical issues with Blog Talk Radio, and last couple of weeks, Blog Talk Radio's been on their game, so I'll give them credit where credit is due. This is how it should be each week, and let's hope it continues that way. Up here, we're getting ready to move into the 90-degree weather range, mid to upper 90s. So looking forward to that, but that's part of summer, and, it beats 40 below zero, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, well, down here, the largemouth bass are really biting this week. So the way they say it is, you go out and they jump in the boat. Trust me, you hook a largemouth bass that's north of 5 pounds, it ain't jumping in the boat. It's going to make you work 15, 20 minutes to get that thing in the boat. But, fishing is fun. It's that time of year. The lake is beautiful. All my flowers are blooming. And we've got a wonderful guest on tonight's show, so it couldn't be any better.
Yeah. And right off the top, we've got Mr. President, I've got your back. First Ladies of South Carolina State University. That is coming soon. That is by Abigail H. Hugueny and
Not
Marielle
soon anymore, Beem. Not soon anymore.
Well, it's already out. That's right. Well,
already out.
This is our reprint of our original. So we may have to update some of this stuff of our.
I did update it all except apparently that one.
Yeah.
But from Mr. President, I've got your back now.
So go over there and grab that. That is a great historical look at the First Ladies of South Carolina State University. Is a wonderful, if you're a history buff, and even if you're not a history buff, get over there and grab a copy of it.
All right. We've got another book that we're putting out this week. The print editions are out there on sites like Amazon right now. The ebook editions are going to be another day or two before they show up. But it's called Pandemonium in Puzzle Town. And it's an illustrated chapter book for children by tonight's guest, B.A. Johnson. So, Pandemonium in Puzzle Town. You can order your print copies now. You've got to wait a day or two for ebooks at all your favorite retailers. But get over there and check that out.
Yeah. Cheryl Carpinello's Young Knights. The Legend of the Young Knights. It's the audio book. We've got a trailer for it. Get over to YouTube. I reviewed the book over at beamweeks.wordpress.com. Get over there and read the review. It's got a link to her episode she was on last week. There's a bunch of cool stuff over there. And get over to YouTube, Fresh Ink Group, and see the trailer. Get the word out. Spread the word out. Ethan Drew, he's a movie star. He's been in some big pictures. He was in Camp Hideaway with Christopher Lloyd. You remember him from Taxi and from Doc Brown and Back to the Future. He was Ethan had billing over Christopher Lloyd. So we were able to finagle him to be the voiceover artist in this book, in this audio book. So The Young Knights, Cheryl Carpinello audiobook. Get over there and grab your copy and help spread the word.
Yeah, now when you go looking for that trailer at YouTube, it's the Fresh Ink Group channel. And hey, while you're there, here's an idea. Subscribe, because we just get silly excited when we get over there and see people have subscribed to our YouTube channel. While you're there, we've got another new trailer that just went up this past week called The Nurses, Book 1 of the Nurses of the Creed, which is for the book that we just published about 2 weeks ago by Anna Morgan. She's in the United Kingdom. She's done a lot of background and research on World War II, medical personnel, the nurses, and how things all happened. And she's put together a riveting tale. This is the first book in what's to be a series called Nurses of the Creed. That's by Anna Morgan. Out now.
Yeah, out now. And Stephen just said that the trailer's over there. Unless he put it up, it's not over there because I'm working on an audiobook, so I haven't had the time to finish this trailer. So it may be another week or so before the trailer actually gets up there.
Well, that just come to us for all the wrong info.
Yeah. Well, no, because it should have been up by now, but I'm trying to get this audiobook done. So
yeah.
And I see we got a whole bunch of callers lined up right now. So if you want to be part of this show, you can call in or get on X, and here's how you can do that.
Call 516-453-9902 right now with your questions or comments for tonight's guest, or post a note on Twitter with hashtag Fresh Ink Group in the body of the tweet, and we'll read it on air. That's 516-453-9902 or hashtag Fresh Ink Group on Twitter.
Be there.
More books that have come out in the past few weeks. This one's A Light in the Darkness, Words and Poems of Encouragement. And that's by Tina Reese. She's a special needs adult who's living in a group home and wanted to put together her thoughts on motivation, gratitude, people who have helped her, and basically put out some words and poems of encouragement, too. So that's A Light in the Darkness, Words and Poems of Encouragement by Tina Reese.
Yeah, congratulations on Tina on putting that together. Also out now and doing fabulously well is A Beggar's Bargain, book one of the Bargainers series by Jan Sykes. Jan is all over the place with this book. She's doing signings, she's doing interviews, it's being reviewed all over the internet world, so hook onto it, check it out, grab a hold of a copy of it. This is looking like it's one of her best sellers from what we can see so far. So congratulations to Jan on that. A Beggar's Bargain, book one of the Bargainer series by Jan Sykes.
Yeah, and watch for book two. She's trying to have that done by the end of the summer and get that thing out in time for fall, too. So get hooked on the series. Now, we got some photography books in the works here. We've got two photography books by Braden Green that we're looking to have out by the end of the summer. But right now, I'm working heavily on Journey Through the Lens, Creative Guide to Wildlife Photography by world-known wildlife photographer Angie Birmingham. And she's written the comprehensive guide on how to make friends with your camera and make it bend to your will so that you can create the kinds of backgrounds and looks in your wildlife photography and all photography as you develop your expertise, gain your experience, and create more and more stunning photographs. This woman is the one to do it. She's got a whole bunch of examples of her own work in the book. If you looked at today's newsletter that came out this morning, you saw a couple of examples of pictures that she recently took in Costa Rica just about a month ago. So that's Journey Through the Lens, Creative Guide to Wildlife Photography by Angie Birmingham. And we're down to, hopefully, a few weeks this thing will be out.
Yeah, and I've seen some of those pictures. She is just it takes stunning photos, really cool. And then you get to learn her techniques. So you're going to want to grab this book. And if you want to know about other stuff like this, books coming out, who's going to be the guest on this program, all things indie publishing and all things in the Fresh Ink Group world, we've got a newsletter. And if you're not subscribed to it, we're going to send Guido to your house and make sure you are subscribed to it. You like your thumbs? Well, just kidding. But here's how you can subscribe to our newsletter.
Stay on top of these podcasts and all things Fresh Ink Group with our weekly digital newsletter. New releases, videos, stories, excerpts, interviews, and more. Sign up now on the homepage of FreshInkGroup.com and be the one who knows what's what.
What?
All right, we've got another illustrated children's book coming out in the next couple of weeks, Miratambo Moonsong, and that's by Michael Filippello. This is his first-time book. He put out a children's book before that he self-published and did okay with it, but he's decided to go big time now, come to Fresh Ink Group, and join the upper echelon of children's book creators. So look for his Miratambo Moonsong. That's by Michael Filippello. We're looking at about 2 weeks probably to get that out.
All right. And coming soon, Book 4 in the Star Child saga, The Iapetus Federation by Robert G. Willis-Croft. And it's his audiobook, one of his audiobooks that I'm working on now, which is why that book trailer hasn't been finished yet. And let me tell you, this audiobook is really cool. But keep your eyes and ears on the newsletter and on this show, and be ready for when Book 4 of the Star Child Saga comes out. Go over there and read those reviews. People are waiting for this one. So Book 4 of the Star Child Saga, Iapetus Federation, Robert G. Willis, coming soon.
Yeah. Now, we've got a trailer up in the Fresh Ink Group channel for the Star Child Trilogy, which was when that was a 3-book set. We've now made it a 4-book set by including the Daedalus files. And I just put it on my list today that we need to update that trailer, Beam, so that we've got all 4 books in there.
Yeah.
And while I was writing that
ready
down on my list, I got a note from Willis Croft. He's working on the 5th book in that series.
Woo-hoo.
So we're going to have to try to get a cover going so that we can update the trailer with 5 books instead of 4. So the Star Child Saga by Willis Croft. Now, let's take a quick look over here and see what's happening in Fresh Ink Group's print bestseller list. Starting this week, at number 25, we've got The Nurses of the Creek, Book 1, and that's the hardcover edition. Again, people are buying novels in hardcover, and we're not quite sure why, but we'll take it. And at the 24th slot, The Chair, Volume 1, Lightning, Thunder, and Glory by Robert Mackenzie. That's the first of 4 books in his Chair series. We're working on the 5th one now, looking to have it out at the end of this summer. Now, we've got Off the Hook Forces, Dave Hooker's book, Celebrate 98, The Untold Stories Behind the Tennessee Football Vols' 1998 National Championship. That's in the 23 slot. 22 slot, as we remember, A History of the Women's Relief Corps in Beaufort, South Carolina by Dr. Najma Thomas. Man, that's a great historical look at the Women's Relief Corps and the history of it and what a vital role Beaufort, South Carolina played. Now, we've got the hardcover edition of Jerry Pate's Submariner, 30 Years of Hijinks and Keeping the Fleet Afloat. Jerry is a retired U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander. He's written a 60-chapter memoir with just all kinds of, and hijinks doesn't even quite say it all. All the things that were going on are serious stories, poignant tales, a lot of humor. And basically, if you want to spend some time underwater with Jerry and the gang, Submariner, 30 Years of Hijinks and Keeping the Fleet Afloat by Jerry Pate. That brings us to How to Teach Driving, the Parents Edition from Kenneth Lindquist. There's also an instructor's edition of that book that he's put out. I got a feeling it'll probably be a little bit higher on this list. Speaking of Robert G. Willis Croft, the first book in his Mac McDowell Mission series, Operation Ivy Bells. You know what, Beam? Hardcover edition, again, on a novel. People are liking these, so we're not going to argue. Now, David Carroll is next. I Won't Be Your Scapegoat, David Carroll's homemade social media blunders. That thing is just plain a hoot. And then we've got Dr. Helen Burrell's American Agony, the Opioid War Against Patients in Pain. And that book's about a couple of years old now, and yet it is still very relevant today, and the examples are very poignant. Anybody who has any interest in what's going on with enforcement of opioids and opioid use and prescriptions and harassment of doctors and whatnot in the country today, you're going to want to pick that book up. American Agony, The Opioid War Against Patients in Pain by Dr. Helen Burrell. Now, Tina Reese's book is here, A Light in the Darkness, Words and Poems of Encouragement. That's her paperback edition. And then above that, having dropped a little bit on the list this week, we've got in the 6th slot, The High Road, Memories from a Long Trip by Country Music Hall of Fame drummer Mark Herndon. Who did he play with, Beam? Some obscure group?
Yeah, I think he played with Metallica. No, wait. He played with Alabama. Supergroup, Country Hall of Fame supergroup Alabama. He played with them for 28 years.
Yeah, and if you're a country music fan or just a fan of the music industry, Mark's behind-the-scenes stories are just fascinating. So check that out, The High Road, Memories from a Long Trip by Mark Herndon. That gets us to our top 5. Number 5, paperback edition of Dave Hooker's Celebrate 98, The Untold Stories Behind the Tennessee Football Vols' 1998 National Championship. Now, pinch me if I'm wrong, Beam, but I don't think it's college football season right now. It's June. Nope. Why are people buying college football books? Because it's that good of a book, and Dave Hooker knows what he's doing. He's got the pictures, he's got the stories, he's got the behind the scenes, and it's just a cool book, and we're proud to have published it. So congratulations, Dave. Even after all this time, you're running number 5. Kenneth Lindquist, I mentioned the instructor's edition of How to Teach Driving. That's in there at number 4. At number 3, that Country Music Hall of Fame drummer again, Mark Herndon, and it's the hardcover edition. So people tend to prefer the hardcover when they buy that book because they're often giving it as a gift to other Alabama or Mark Herndon fans or music fans, or they want to keep it themselves, keep it on the shelf.
The thing that just blows my mind about that book is the legs that it has, that it's, all these years later, it's still selling. This guy sold a lot of those books.
Yes, he did. Yeah. And also, you can buy that from all the major retailers around the world, just like all the books that we publish at Fresh Ink Group. But in this case, you could also go to markherndon.com. Over at markherndon.com, you can buy a copy directly from him and his wife, country music star Leah Seacrest.
Right.
Right. Yeah, she's not going to be hosting any Wheel of Fortune or anything like that. But at any rate, you can go to markherndon.com, purchase the book directly from Mark and Leah, and Mark will autograph it for you, and he'll even inscribe it when you order it. If you want to put a note in there like, say, hey, to my sister Cindy, happy birthday, or something like that. Having a note like that from Mark Herndon would be very cool. All right, top 2 books. Top 2 print bestsellers from Fresh Ink Group over the past week. In the number 2 slot, retired U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander Jerry Pates, Submariner, 30 Years of Hijinks and Keeping the Fleet Afloat. And that's the paperback edition. Jerry's book seems to be bobbing around in the top 10 most every week. A lot of it depends on whether he's made some appearances, spread the word, or put an ad out there. But this book is definitely showing that it has legs, too. This is well over a year that this one's been out. And here it is this week, number 2. Now, what would be our number 1 book this week? Wow. When we look at the numbers for the number 2 seller, you multiply those numbers times 7 to get our number 1 bestseller this week. This is a huge jump in the numbers. This book has been out for years. There Must Be Something in the Water, anthology of the 4th generation descendants of Green Pond after the Emancipation, and that's by Abigail H. Eugenie, who is also the co-author of Mr. President, I've Got Your Back, First Ladies of South Carolina State University, which we just published this past week. That's probably bringing a lot of new attention to her. She's getting out there, starting to do the publicity, and as we always say, a lot of times the best way to sell your first book is to put out your 3rd one, because that's when people discover you and go back and find your earlier books. In this case, Abigail Eugenie's got a big surge in sales from her first book as soon as we put out her 2nd. Congratulations, Abigail.
Yeah, congratulations. Listeners, if you happen to miss an episode or there's a favorite episode that you want to relive, we've got an archive, and every week we add these episodes to the archive. So there's over 200 previous episodes sitting in the archives, and here's where you can find them.
Find your favorite show in the Voice of Indie archives on YouTube at Fresh Ink Group, StephenG's.com, BeamWeeks.com, FreshInkGroup.com, and on Spotify. And now, you can listen on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and TuneIn. Just search The Voice of Indie, all one word.
Set in medieval Wales during the mystical times of King Arthur, 11-year-old Gavin and his friends are determined to prove their mentor, the Wild Man, innocent of murder. The youngest heir of Pembroke Castle, 11-year-old Gavin longs to prove he is worthy of knighthood, but he fears his own failures, and now he must choose between fleeing and fighting to save his friend. Gavin's coming-of-age story is full of mystery, intrigue, betrayal, and the charms of an eerie witch. Will Gavin earn his knighthood, or will evil challenge his very survival? Read the young adult chapter book, The King's Ransom, Tales and Legends, Young Knights of the Round Table, by Cheryl Carpinello, and now discover the audiobook, narrated by Ethan Drew, with music and sound effects. Produced and published by Fresh Ink Group. Cheryl Carpinello's King's Ransom, Tales and Legends audiobook is available worldwide.
A shocking proposal that changes everything. Desperate to honor his father's dying wish, Lakin Martin vows to do whatever it takes to save the family farm. Once the Army discharges him following World War II, Lakin returns to Missouri to find his legacy in shambles and in jeopardy. A foreclosure notice from the bank doubles the threat. He appeals to the local banker for more time, a chance to rebuild, plant, and harvest crops, and time to heal far away from the noise of bombs and gunfire. But the banker firmly denies his request. Now what? Then the banker makes an alternative proposition. Marry his unwanted daughter, Sarah Beth, in exchange for a 2-year extension. Out of options, money, and time, Lakin agrees to the bargain. Now he has 2 years to make a living off the land while he shares his life with a stranger. Read A Beggar's Bargain, Book 1 in the Bargainer series by best-selling author Jan Sykes. Available worldwide from multimedia publisher Fresh Ink Group in jacketed hardcover, softcover, and all ebook formats. A Beggar's Bargain by Jan Sykes.
All right. Get out there and grab your copy.
So let's meet this week's guest. Retired educator B.A. Johnson is a lifetime member of St. John African Methodist Episcopal Church, that's AME Church, in Huntsville, Alabama. Now, if you live in Kansas, you say Huntsville. Down here, we say Huntsville. It's Huntsville, Alabama. After 35 years spanning elementary classrooms to administration, she continues her passion in the church, working with the new members class for youth, which requires her to adapt adult materials for children. Recognizing the importance of young members understanding their church history, she developed the characters for an illustrated children's story, and Sassy Discovers the AME Church was born. While this is Ms. Johnson's first book project as an author, she continues to hone her writing skills as editor and contributor to 26-year-old St. John Amen, a newsletter highlighting many of the events, people, and activities of the local church. Several of her articles have appeared in the Christian Recorder, the official organ of the AME Church, since 1851. Now, since then, B.A. Johnson has put out a sequel to Sassy Discovers the AME Church called Sassy Uncovers Peter Allen's Secret. This is an excellent story based on the true story of Peter Allen and his son. So those two books together are forming a series. We're hoping that Barbara continues that series. Now, she's the author of the new one, Pandemonium in Puzzletown. You can find her at freshinkgroup.com. Welcome to the show, Barbara.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hey, so right off the bat, what do you think of Abigail H. Uginny's book? We know you know her, you're friends with her. She rocking or what?
Oh, yeah, she's doing a wonderful job. I'm so happy for her. Being number 1 2 weeks in a row. That's great.
Yeah. So I understand we have several callers waiting, too, so let's cover some real quick stuff and so we can get to the phones. Where are you from? Where are you living now? What's going on with you?
Okay, well, I'm living here in Huntsville, which is not far from you, Gary.
Yeah.
And I'm still enjoying being retired. I love being retired. I miss the kids, of course, at school, but for the most part, I'm enjoying retirement. Wouldn't give anything for it. It gives me a chance to do some of the things that I really enjoy, which one is writing. I enjoy writing still.
And the Sassy books have given you an opportunity to get out there and meet some people, do some promoting, and get the word out?
Yes. The first book, as well as the second one, really given me an opportunity to meet a lot of people. And I'm working on the third one in the Sassy series. Sassy will have grown up somewhat, and she's planning on going off to college and doing some things at her church. So maybe by 2025, either the spring of 25 or the summer of 25, that third book in that series will be ready to be published. How about that?
All right, we're excited about it. So could you quickly tell us what happens in the two books, and then we'll go see if callers have any questions about them.
Okay, sure. Well, in the first book, Sassy Discovers AME Church, she and her grandmother, Big Mama, really talk about the history of the AME Church, and it's written in a form so that children can read the history of the AME Church for themselves. And then in book 2, she and her friend discover or uncover Peter Allen's secret. Peter Allen was Richard Allen's son, one of his 6 children. Richard Allen was the founder of the AME Church. And so they uncovered this secret that has been kept for a while from them. So they're able to read that history as well for themselves and know a little bit more about Richard Allen's family, as well as know some history about Peter Allen. So those are those 2 books. So we're going to put those aside and kind of talk about this third one that's coming up.
Yeah, we'll be getting to that shortly. We're even going to play a new commercial for it as well. So, Beem, you've got some callers?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. So there are several that's got the same area code. It's Alabama. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read your last 4 digits of your phone number, and so just remember your phone number. There's some people that forget it, but the last 4 digits, because I can't just give you the area code. But the first one is the 910, which is North Carolina. So we're going to go to the North Carolina one first. Hello, North Carolina. You're on the air. What's your name?
Greetings, everybody. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Angelo Johnson from Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and I am happy to be on with everybody tonight, and I consider myself Student 1 for Miss B.A. Johnson.
Well, welcome to the show.
Hello, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. And B.A. Johnson, do you recognize this man?
I sure do recognize him. He is my little brother, who was my first student. He was my first student as not as an official certified teacher, but when I was at home, I would make him sit in a kitchen chair, and we would put a sheet of paper on the wall, and I would teach him his alphabet. So he was my first student. He was a good student, too. So that's where I honed my skills to become a certified official teacher, was with him. So thanks for calling in, brother.
Yeah. So, Angela, do you have a question or comment for your sister, or do you just have some stories you can tell?
No, we're not telling any stories.
Well, I'm so excited for her. I enjoyed the first 2 books and cannot wait to get the third one and share it with many of our friends and colleagues up here in the military. They love to send the books out to kids kind of across the country, and we're going to look to try and see if we can get 1 or 2 overseas to some of our colleagues overseas as well. So I'm excited, pleased to be on the show, and can't wait to get her moving up that leaderboard as well.
Thank you. Amazon.com.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, Angelo.
All right.
And thanks for your service.
Yes, thank you for your service. Definitely.
Thanks, brother.
All right. So we're going to go to one of these Alabama calls now, and the first one, the last 4 digits of your phone number, Alabama, is 2884. 2884. You are on the air. What's your name?
I'm Veronica Curtis Ritchie. I am so very excited. Barbara, I can't wait. You're driving me crazy. I enjoyed the first 2 books, but I love to put puzzles together, so I'm excited.
Well,
all right,
I'm
so happy. That's my cousin. I have fans. Thank you for calling in.
Sure. The question I have, though, is what inspired you to decide to write the book about Pandemonium in Puzzle Town?
Okay, well, the inspiration for the book came during the pandemic when there was nowhere to go and everything was closed down. And all I could do was stay at home because everything was closed and everyone was at home. So I spent a lot of time here in my house like everybody else did during that time by themselves. And one of my church members, Mrs. Ezel, was doing puzzles, and I saw her Facebook post where she and her son, Dr. Daryl Ezel, had arranged this 1,000-piece puzzle, and it was beautiful. And so she challenged me. I told her what a good job they had done and everything. So she challenged me and said, oh, it's easy. Just start doing a puzzle. It may take you a little while, but you'll learn patience. And that's all we have right now is time on our hands, so you'll enjoy it. And so I thought, okay, I'll accept the challenge. I'm going to try a puzzle. I had never, ever done a puzzle before. Hadn't even thought about doing a puzzle. But since I had so much time on my hands, I thought, well, why not? So I purchased a 300-piece puzzle to start with, and then started watching YouTube videos by Karen Puzzles. And she gave me a lot of techniques and strategies on how to arrange puzzles. And after the first one got put together, and I really enjoyed it, I thought, okay, I think I got the hang of this. So then one led to another, then to another, got some challenges from some other puzzlers, did not realize there were so many puzzlers at my church, and then they were saying, oh, you can do this is what I'm doing. Everybody was puzzling at that time. And it just opened up a whole new world for me. And as I was looking at these pieces, putting the puzzles together, the inspiration for a children's book just came to me, and I thought, okay, let me just play around with the content, see if I can create a storyline behind one piece of the puzzle, and so that's where it all started. But I just realized that puzzling opened up a whole new world. I didn't even know all these people puzzled, and there are puzzle competitions, and there are puzzling communities. You can exchange puzzles with other people. There's puzzling glue and puzzle pads and puzzle tables, all these things regarding puzzles, and I thought, wow, this is a whole new experience for me. So that was the inspiration behind creating this story. And the storyline follows Kevin, who is a puzzle piece that sometimes does not fit in. So that's where the inspiration came from all my puzzling friends. I know they're out there listening. Hi, puzzlers. So one thing just led to another, and people just challenged and said, okay, you've gotten this puzzle put together. Here's another one. They would give me puzzles. People were sending me puzzles in the mail. So the ones that I put together, I took a picture of them, posted them on Facebook, and that encouraged other people to respond to those posts. And one thing just led to another. I have become a puzzler.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you for calling in. All right. We are going to run a couple of ads, and when we come back, callers, we're coming back to you, so stay patient, and we'll get to you.
A small rural community in the Lowcountry along Ocean Highway, Green Pond, South Carolina, has long lacked cultural and educational opportunities for its young people's future success. Many have gone on to serve in the highest levels of education, government, public service, elected office, business, and medicine. With so much success against the odds, surely there must be something in the water. Abigail Hughini chronicles the impact just 42 of Green Pond's children have gone on to make in the world. All full-color editions include photos from around town and local translations of down-home sayings. These inspirational stories prove that, regardless of one's background, we can all find our own paths toward greatness. An excellent reference, keepsake, gift, and addition to every library. There Must Be Something in the Water, anthology of the fourth generation, descendants of Green Pond, after the emancipation, is proudly published by Fresh Ink Group.
Hi, I'm Mary Margaret Fanson. My grandmother, Big Mama, calls me Sassy. I've been a member of the African Methodist Episcopal Church all my life. I never knew why everyone was so proud to be AME. Then I met Gerald in Children's Church. He thinks he knows everything about being AME. I have to learn a lot more just to show him. B.A. Johnson has been writing a series of books about me, my brother, and my friends, with lots of colorful drawings. We also explore bullying, friendship, inclusion, death, grief, forgiveness, and more. Sassy Discovers the AME Church is about me learning about our church and something terrible that happened in Charleston. The second book, Sassy Uncovers Peter Allen's Secret, is about discovering the story of our church's founder's family and one hero in particular. These and more Sassy books are published by Fresh Ink Group in laminated hardcover, softcover, and all ebook formats available worldwide. Come on, join me and discover why I can say I'm proud to be AME.
All right. So we are going to jump back into the callers. And so this one's going to be another Alabama caller. And the last four digits of this phone number is 2082. 2082. You are on the air. What's your name? Hello, Alabama. Hello, Alabama. Caller, are you there?
Yes, this is Thalia Love. I am also a member of St. John AME Church.
Well, welcome to the show, Thalia.
Yes, and my question was already answered. But I'm here to support, as always.
Thank you, Dr. Love.
You're welcome. I've enjoyed the book. Looking forward to the next one.
So what's the best thing about these books? What makes them so good, Thalia?
Well, I'm over Christian education, and so I work with the children, and so I see the importance of having that historical background without it being presented as a boring history lesson. And so I can see the value of that.
Yeah, the way she created a child to use the point of view so that we could all see it through a child's eyes. I thought that was clever.
Yes, and the puzzles, my father used to work puzzles, but I saw some of her challenges and I bought a couple of puzzles, but after my cats knocked one over, I decided I'd go back to just reading.
All right.
Well, we're glad you called in, Thalia. And, we appreciate the endorsement of B.A. Johnson's books because we're very proud of them. We know she's proud of them. And we're glad to hear that you're out there seeing them being put to good use.
Thank you for calling in.
Thanks, Thalia.
Thanks, Thalia. Okay. So the next caller is not Alabama. This is an 803 area code, so that's South Carolina. Hello, South Carolina. You're on the air. What's your name?
Is this? I'm the only South Carolina. This is Abigail Hughini.
Hi,
hello,
Abigail.
Welcome to the show.
I guess I was trying to get over my surprise with the book, but I got my inspiration for writing from B.A. Johnson. So I am not going to take that as something that I had planned to do. But after she said no, I gave her my idea. She said, no, go on and write it. And that the inspiration that I received from B.A. Johnson. So it's no wonder that she's on her third book and possibly a fourth book by 2025. I am a little behind her, but she's my inspiration, and I can't wait to read this book. One of the things that someone said, I think her brother said, that we need to share these books because they're all relatable to children, the first two as well as this book is coming up. So we purchased books. I have purchased several of her books for my family members, and I encourage other people to do the same. But my question is...
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What did you say?
Go ahead with your question.
I know. My question has also been taken. I said, how did you shift from writing about Sassy and Peter Allen into writing a book about puzzles? But you did a good job of explaining that. That was my question also. So I can't wait. And by the way, I have a picture, a frame, a puzzle in my office by B.A. Johnson. She was getting ready to throw it away, and I said, no, you cannot. So I got it. She didn't charge me for it. I got it from her, and I had my husband to frame it. So whenever you come to my house, it's right there where I can see it every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you on having your book be the top seller for the last 2 weeks. Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And your inspirations, as I said before, I would not have been in this position had I not. You did not encourage me to do that. So I really appreciate that.
It's a very nice story. We like it when our authors get out and blame each other.
Well, she has some more titles to come, so she has lots of more writing to do.
She's working on number 3 right now.
I guess Barbara will have me writing until I'm 80. Well, congratulations, Barbara.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you, Abigail.
Thank you, Abigail. Mm-hmm. All right. So we got one more caller, and this caller is another Alabama caller. Last 4 digits are 2185, but you're the last caller so far. So what's your name, Alabama? Hello, Alabama. Hello, caller from Alabama. Last 4 digits of your phone number is 2185. Going once. Going twice. All right, we're going to put this one on hold and maybe come back in a little while.
Yeah, we'll try that one again. Now, you'd have to be from down here to understand it, but one of these days I know that we're going to say, hello, caller, and it's going to be, I'm Alexander Shannara. You get that one, don't you, Barbara?
Yes. Call me, Alabama.
So, all right. Barbara, we're going to talk a little bit here about we've already talked a little bit about the Sassy books, but these books have got a lot of artwork in them. Who did this artwork for you? And tell us a little bit about the artwork and how it came about.
Okay, that's
starting with the Sassy books.
That's a great question. I have a concept, an idea of the pictures that I want to include in both of the Sassy books, and I am not an artist. All I can give you is the concept, and I provided the artist, your in-house artist, with my concept of what I thought the characters should look like. And Anik was perfection. He took those ideas and perfected them, and we went back and forth until we got exactly what was in my mind on paper. So Anik, the in-house artist there at FIG, took my concept and just brought it to life. And I was just really impressed with the final pictures that appeared in both of the Sassy books. With this book, Pandemonium in Puzzle Town, I had talked to Stephen about either doing watercolors this time or using AI. I didn't know a whole lot about using AI to create the pictures, but he said, well, it's easy. You can learn. Here are some websites you need to look at. And I thought, you know what? I really don't have the time to kind of learn AI. If you could just do it for me, that would be a whole lot better. But I took it on as a challenge. Whenever I'm given a challenge, I'll take it on. So I came up with the concept of the picture that I wanted to use in Pandemonium for Puzzle Town and created the AI-generated pictures, sent them to Fresh Ink, and Anik took those concepts and tweeted them so that it was exactly what I was expecting and what I was looking for, especially when it came to the puzzle pieces, the characters. He really had to do some tweaking with those.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Puzzle Town here coming up, but back to Sassy right now. You did some marketing and stuff, and you had some events. Explain some of those things to the listeners. What you did to market it, book shows and whatnot.
Oh, sure. Okay. With Sassy being my first book, I had to get it out there because I wanted it to be in the hands of every AME child that was part of our denomination and beyond. So did some book signings, promoted everything on social media, had my website developed. Every time I had an event, I took pictures, posted those pictures on my website so that everyone could see that kids are really getting these books, and the book is out there. So I used social media. I used actual book signings. I did some virtual events because we were still during the pandemic, and some of the books were being sold to churches that were in other states. So I did some virtual Zoom promotions with those churches, and they were happy to do that because I couldn't come there. Their churches weren't open. Traveling was limited. So I had to use everything that was possible or available to me to promote the book. Word of mouth. Promoting the book through word of mouth, friends telling other friends. Anytime we had a visiting minister at our church, that minister always received one, if not both books, to take back to his congregation. So that was very helpful, very helpful. I've had big book sales from several of the districts in the AME Church, which I'm very, very proud of. And that came through my minister, Reverend Maurice Wright, promoting the book as well. His daughter did the first trailer for Sassy. He was one of the beta readers for Sassy, so he was very familiar with the book and the text. So he's been a big promoter as well. So with his promotion, family members promoting the book, promoting it through my sorority, friends and family members, the book got out there. So it's everywhere right now. Both of the Sassy books are, and I'm expecting Pandemonium and Puzzle Town to go just as far as the other two have gone. So I just promote wherever I can, just as whatever is available, I use it.
Yeah, well, like all first-time authors, you had to learn a lot of this as you went along. What did you learn from it? Did you find some things work better than others? Do you have any advice about first-time authors getting out there and learning to promote?
Well, promotion is everything. You can't write a book and then just have it on the shelf. That's not going to benefit anyone. So you have to promote what you've written and show everyone why it is important that they need to have this book. And the only way that will happen is that you put a face, you put a voice, you put inspiration there to promote the book. And I've tried to do that in every way possible. Also through using the venues that the Fresh Ink Group has. You have it all out there as well on Instagram, on YouTube. It's out there. So some of the promotional things have come through having a good publisher as well. So I appreciate everything that Fresh Ink has done. The team has been wonderful. The artist, Anik, has been wonderful. My editor has been wonderful. Mr. Stephen, you've been wonderful. So Beem as well, because I know you've done some editing for my books as well. So I just appreciate that in getting the books promoted, because it's not enough just to write the books. They have to be promoted so that they can get in the hands of the people we want to have the books.
The writing is the easy part. The promoting is where the real work kicks in.
Yeah, and editors and artists get all the accolades, but unsung heroes like Beem, he's out there assigning ISBNs, registering in Bowker, really doing the lead work, getting the Library of Congress control number, getting it all put together. So it's always a team effort, and we enjoy working with B.A. Johnson. She's got cool stories. Speaking of which, Beem, doesn't she have a new one?
We do. She's got a new story, Pandemonium in Puzzletown. And how about we play the commercial for that one, the world premiere. World premiere. So this is the world premiere of the commercial for Pandemonium in Puzzletown. And when we come back, we will talk about this book.
The stranger in Puzzletown has everyone talking. When he gets off the bus, his frumpy old suitcase simply says Kevin. He looks normal, but in a town where everybody has knobs, Kevin has no knobs. He's too different. Where can he live? Who would ever want to be his friend? Then a powerful force enters Puzzletown, and their world spins out of control. How will Kevin ever become a true citizen of Puzzletown when he just doesn't fit in? An illustrated chapter book for children. Puzzletown is by retired educator B.A. Johnson, author of Sassy Discovers the AME Church and Sassy Uncovers Peter Allen's Secret. Available in case limited hardcover, softcover, and all ebook formats. Puzzletown teaches about inclusion in a fun and entertaining way. Published by Fresh Ink Group, Puzzletown has everybody talking.
All right. So
I like it.
Yeah, and we'll be putting together a trailer for that before too long.
Makes you want to read it, huh, Barbara?
Makes me want to read it. Makes me want to promote it, too.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to invite callers in because we have one more we'll get to here shortly. How about callers? 516-453-9902, and we will take your call live on the air. Barbara, tell us, what is this book about? This brand spanking new book you've got.
Pandemonium, I hear.
Pandemonium.
Right, it's about pandemonium. Pandemonium in Puzzletown teaches a lot of lessons for kids, I think. And whenever I write a book, I want to have lessons that are embedded in the story so that kids will have something to talk about. And especially when parents read those stories, they can talk about the lessons that are learned through the story. But Pandemonium in Puzzletown speaks to inclusion. It speaks to kindness. It speaks to being a friend, and speaks especially to the thought of, if you want friends, you have to show yourself friendly. It speaks to loving your neighbor and the fact that you have to decide, who is my neighbor? Is my neighbor only the people that have two knobs? And knobs are the connectors on puzzle pieces. Are my neighbors just the three knobbers or the four knobbers? Kevin has no knob. Is he my neighbor? So it touches on some moral issues in the story, and it gives parents a lot of things to talk about with their children. How can Kevin fit in when he has no knob? Where is Kevin going to live when he can't live with the one knobbers or the two knobbers or the 3 or 4 knobbers? Where is he going to live? He has to fit in. And the story concludes, and I don't want to be a spoiler alert, but the story ends in a real positive way that I think parents and kids will feel good about.
There's no doubt about that. It's a moral story, and it's a good one with a good message, good lesson for young people. We highly recommend it, and it looks pretty cool too. You liking the look?
I love the artistic work in it. I really do, because it's bright and attractive. The colors are real interesting. I think it just really engages kids in the storyline as well. And the pandemonium part of it is exciting. I think it'll just draw kids in, just starting with the cover. The cover of the book will just draw kids in and encourage them to want to read it.
Yeah. All right, we're talking to B.A. Johnson, author of the Sassy series of illustrated chapter books for children, and now author of the new illustrated chapter book, Pandemonium in Puzzle Town. People, you're invited to call in, 516-453-9902. And Beem, we have a caller?
We do have a caller. We're going to go ahead and take this one. No, that caller's gone. Didn't hang on long enough. So
had a chance.
Had a chance. It just dropped. If you're still listening, call back. We'll put you on. We're going to take calls again. So 516-453-9902. Now, Barbara, the Sassy books became a series. What about Puzzle Town? Do you have future editions of this book? Sequel? You going to take this into series land?
Pandemonium and Sudoku land?
I think Kevin and Pandemonium and Puzzle Town might be a one and done. I have some other ideas that I want to explore with some other books besides having to do the third book for Sassy. But there are some other titles and some other ideas that I want to explore because inspiration is everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of concepts still to write about. So Pandemonium and Kevin and Puzzle Town, that might be a one and done unless something changes. Right now, that's a one and done.
All right. Well, there's, like you said, there's inspiration everywhere. So we're looking forward to something else. We're going to take a couple of commercial break and throw a couple more commercials here. But callers, you still have time, plenty of time. 516-453-9902. We want to hear from you, so give us a call and we'll put you on the air with author B.A. Johnson. And we'll be right back.
A grand epic saga by Robert Mackenzie, the Chair series spans centuries, touching the lives of 22 generations of related mothers and daughters, their stories witnessed by a simple pine chair. Resolute, strong, loving, and fiercely protective, these women must strive to pass their values to new generations in a world of racism and sexism, politics, scandal, fashion, and even the rise and dominance of baseball. They live in privilege and poverty, with faith and despair, relishing every moment of love, even as they suffer abiding grief. Volume 1, Lightning, Thunder, and Glory, spans the 1600s through World War I, while Volume 2, Faith, Hope, and Love, follows these women's descendants into modern times and beyond.
In Volume 3, 7, 8, and 9, the chair flashes back to pre-Civil War America, featuring a woman from the Second Mayflower, her daughter the black market Irish lace importer, and a Canadian World War I fighter pilot. Volume 4, Punch, Pass, and Kick, jumps forward with a gunboat battle, one courageous cattle drive, a suffragette in the ocean liner industry, a mysterious unpublished manuscript, and more. A blend of history and philosophy told through satire and parody, the story of the chair could be found in some old trunk in any dusty old attic. But Mackenzie breathes it alive with riveting tales that span the real and the imagined. Proudly published by Fresh Ink Group, the Chair series by Robert Mackenzie is available worldwide in jacketed hardcover, softcover, and all ebook editions.
I am a recluse and love books more than I love people. So begins Fizza Passan, the self-proclaimed reclusive writer and reader of Mumbai. In this charming collection of personal essays, Fizza recalls important phases of her life, along with the books she was reading at the time and where she was reading them. Revealed along the way are Fizza's personal struggles, from the father who didn't want a girl child, to the years she believed she wanted to be a nun, to the college friends who shamed her for gaining weight. Her greatest victories are found here as well, among them the publication of her first story, the request to autograph her most popular book by an author she admired, the start of her own publishing company, and the acquisition of her very own office-cum-writing hut. Within her stories, you'll meet Fizza's beloved mama, editorial partner and Uncle Blaze, many other uncles and aunts, the librarians of her youth, and plenty of book salesmen, all the people who have helped Fizza along her path to books, books, and more books. You'll also take a taxi with Narayan, Fizza's Man Friday, to visit her favorite haunts, from libraries to kiosks to boutiques to vendors, who pile their offerings on the sides of the road. And you'll learn the plots of her favorite comics, religious writings, medical thrillers, horror stories, activist writings, and so much more. Fizza believes that every one of the books she has read has helped her become the person and the writer she was meant to become. Scenes of a reclusive writer and reader of Mumbai is her life in books.
All right.
She's an upcoming guest, right, Beem?
Yes, she's going to be on in about 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks, episode 204. We are going to take this caller because the caller that was on earlier and then dropped is back. So we're going to take this Alabama call. Last 4 digits of your phone number, 2082. What's your name? Hello, caller. Alabama.
This is Thalia. Yeah, I dropped off and then got back on, but I've already talked. I've already spoken.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for listening in, Thalia. A lot of people do that. You can call in and just listen to the show over your phone.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and we're running out of time here, so we are going to talk about the. We already did that stuff, so.
How about poignant experiences, Barbara?
Yeah.
You've met some fans out there. You've talked to some people.
Oh, I've met lots of fans. Lots of fans of Sassy. Everyone pretty much knows about her now. And not only in Huntsville or Alabama, she is everywhere. She is everywhere. So I've met a lot of people. When I've been out at events, people are really excited to see the book. People who are lifelong AMEs are happy to see the book and see that it's a children's book. They usually buy it. It's not for their children, for their grandchildren, or just for other kids that might be at their church. So I've met quite a few people that are interested in having the book. So I have a great audience and a great bunch of fans, and I am just thrilled that I have a fan group.
Isn't that great? Have any of them
Yeah.
mentioned to you that maybe they'd be interested in trying to write a book or do something? You were obviously an inspiration to Abigail H. Guinea.
Yeah.
I was talking with a young lady on Sunday that said that she was interested in writing a book. She didn't know how to get started. And I said, well, I would be happy to share my experience with you. And the first thing, and my other friend, Janice Draper Tony, is also an author with the FIG group, the Fresh Ink group. She's had her book republished through FIG. So there are a lot of people out there that want to write a book. Everybody has a story to tell. So it's time for people to really get busy telling their stories. And first of all, you need to start writing.
Excellent advice to authors. You got any more?
Oh, sure. Not only do you have to start writing, but you need to prepare for writing by reading some books, learning some things, educating yourself on the type of books you want to write. That was the first thing I really did, was to educate myself on the types of books that I wanted to write, which were children's books. I wanted to specifically write children's books, so I read a lot of books about how to start writing. And then after you have educated yourself on writing the book, what editors do, what publishers do, what the illustrator's job is to do in regards to your story. After you've gotten those skill sets, then you start writing. You start writing your stories. Been educating myself on writing as well. Took 2 online classes with Julia Donaldson, who wrote The Garofalo, that's a very popular book, and David Williams, who wrote The Beast of Buckingham Palace. He writes chapter books, and they're really good. And the other thing is reading. You have to read a lot, too. I read a lot of children's books. I did when I was a teacher. I always had books in my classroom for the kids to read, and I would read to them. So, but I still read children's books. My goal this summer is to read 50 children's books. So I'm always in the library checking out books. So I'm halfway there. Got about 20 more to read. But that's my goal, to read 50 children's books. And through that experience of reading what other writers are writing, what other illustrators are doing in their books, it helps me to learn a little bit more about what I need to do to improve my writing, to look at the pictures and the way they have them organized in the books. So I'm still learning, because this is a learning experience for me.
Yeah, because there might be others that are doing something, a little different that may add to what you're working on. So, that's always a good thing. Now, Barbara, if listeners want to reach out to you and contact you, where can they find you? Social media, website, email?
They can find me on my website, which is, let me see what it is. It's B.A. Johnson, Sassy1 at GoDaddySites.com. They can find me on that site. They can find me on Facebook at Barbara Johnson. I kind of closed down my Twitter account. I don't have an X account. When the new owner took over Twitter, our philosophies didn't quite match, so I didn't use that platform as much. But I am on Facebook as well as Instagram and my website, which is BAJohnsonSassy1 at GoDaddy.com.
Yes, and as always at FreshInkGroup.com, where B.A. Johnson has her own page, her own section, where you can learn about her books, see her videos, and all that. we have a contact form. So with Barbara or any of our authors, if you're trying to reach them and you're not quite sure how, just use the contact form at freshinkgroup.com, and we will make sure that person gets your message. Our guest tonight has been B.A. Johnson, author of the Sassy series of books, and now Pandemonium in Puzzletown. B.A. Johnson, it's been a hoot having you on.
Yes, it has.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to having you back when that next Sassy book is ready, and Pandemonium in Sudoku Town. You never know. All right, the listeners, and thanks to everybody for calling in tonight, too. It's always fun when we get some participation. We're going to have some callers next week, I predict, Beem, because we're going to have Trenton Bennett back. He's the voice actor who also works heavily with ACX and does a lot of producing of audiobooks for authors. He's going to talk about a lot of the things he talked about the first time he was on the show, how to get your audiobook done, how the process works, what your options are, and whatnot. But he's also going to bring in a lot of the new options. We're having AI voices read audiobooks and participate in that process. And Trenton is familiar with it all, so he's going to be our guest next week. If you're interested in audiobook production, voice actors, or just learning what's up with Fresh Ink Group, come back for Trenton Bennett. What do we got after that, Beem?
After that, as we mentioned a little while ago, Fizapathan. She's going to be calling in live from India, and it'll be like 4:30 in the morning over there where she's at. So she wanted to do it live. We offered to do a recorded one, and she said no, she wanted to do it live. And get ready to call in with your questions. She's just a wonderful person. We've known her for years, so be sure to tune into that. And then after that,
we're going to have Nell Cooper back. Now, Nell Cooper is one of the very first authors Fresh Ink Group published a couple of decades ago with her Princess Lil. It's a chapter book for children, aimed primarily at little girls, about a pony that's getting bullied. Well, Nell has written her first adult novel now, Nowhere to Go But Tomorrow, and it's a really, really cool story. So we're looking to have that thing out in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to have Nell Cooper on in 3 weeks talking about that book, Princess Lil, and who knows what else will come up. And then after that, we got a couple of familiar faces, Beem.
Yeah, Rob and Joan Carter, they're going to be back again. They have a podcast that's live the hour before this one. So they're going to literally jump from their podcast into ours. And we've done this before with them, and I think we've pretty much got it down pat what we need to do. So we're going to slide them in here and have a good time with it. Rob and Joan Carter in 4 weeks. And after that...
After that, we've got somebody that I have never met and hadn't even heard of until I was looking at his website last night, Noah Asher. Noah Asher's got some real good material out there that's prescriptive self-help and motivational and basically some real cool stuff. So Noah Asher is going to be our guest after Rob and Joan Carter. We're looking forward to meeting him.
Yeah, there's going to be
He's in July, right?
Yeah, he's towards, I think he's August 21st. So I've got more people to book. I got more people to book in between there. So this list will be updated probably by next week. So again, this is more reason for you to get signed up for our newsletter so you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, before we roll out of here, I want to give a shout out to Verwayne Greenhoe and his wife Lisa. Verwayne just had some eye surgery this morning, I guess, and they removed some white goop glop off of his left eye lens. And he's in the hospital as of tonight. They kept him overnight, but he'll be back home tomorrow, and hopefully he'll be back listening to the show from home with his wife next week. So we wish you well.
Actually, he's listening right now because over on X, she's posted that he just called her.
He's on his cell phone. Yeah, he's listening on his cell phone. So be well, Verwayne.
Be well, Verwayne.
Speedy recovery.
Our best to you.
All right.
All right. Thanks, B.A. Johnson. It's always fun having you on. It's fun hearing your trailers. It's fun thinking about Sassy again. She's taken on a life of her own, hasn't she?
Yes, she has.
Yeah, that's what that is. She's almost a real little girl. She's working on it. So congratulations on the success of your Sassy series. Look forward to Pandemonium in Puzzletown, people. The print editions are out there right now. The e-books will be out there in the next day or two. So by this weekend, get serious about ordering your copies and make sure you order extras as gifts. Thanks for being on the show, B.A. Johnson.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We're going to roll a couple more commercials on the way out. We'll see everybody next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Family secrets can be deadly. When Lisa visits her parents one fateful Saturday morning, she hugs her father and takes her suitcase to her childhood bedroom. The doorbell rings, and 1 minute later, her father lies dead on the floor. 3 bullets to the chest. The death of Eric Holmes sends shockwaves throughout the quiet neighborhood. But for the Holmes family, it's devastating. In this fast-paced psychological thriller, Lisa and her brother embark on a quest to solve the mystery of their father's murder. The journey takes them into a secret world where nothing is as it seems. Once the puzzle pieces begin to coalesce, they realize that their father had multiple lives. As the facts unravel, the siblings discover the true meaning of redemption. Gwen M. Plano's Redemption is available worldwide in softcover, jacketed hardcover, and all ebook formats. Published proudly by Fresh Ink Group. Redemption by Gwen M. Plano.
You're listening to The Voice of Indie.
You've been a part of Voice of Indie, a production of Fresh Ink Group. Spread the word, support our guests, then find us at freshinkgroup.com and be sure to hashtag Fresh Ink Group.